Kia ora tātou, welcome back to the Wargaming Den. This week's battle sees my second game of Battlegroup. I enjoyed my game so much last time that despite saying I'll never get into another scale, I've ended up getting together a 20mm scale British force for Battlegroup and have been furiously painting away the last couple of weeks trying to get it ready for the game that I had yesterday. So I popped down to near Dunedin again to have another game against Richard. This time he brought a 21st Panzer Division force. I've been, as I said, busy painting my British infantry and supporting armour for the Normandy campaign. So we had a 600 point game, and the mission we were playing is called Attack Counter-Attack. So my infantry for this force arrived in New Zealand on Monday, and I had them all painted up and ready to go by Wednesday for Friday's game. Nothing like having a deadline to get a force painted. It was pretty basic paint job, just block colours and a known oil wash, but very happy with the way it's turned out. So as you can see here, we've got a rifle platoon, and they're supported by, that's the HQ, which has got a PET and a 2-inch mortar. That's my forward HQ. I've got a 3-inch mortar, Vickers machine gun, and I have the 6-pounder supporting them as well. The back here I've got Plastic Soldier Company, Cromwell's, and Achilles. It's an armour cast vehicle that I enjoyed putting together. Pretty basic, but added some stowage and crew and turned out not too bad. In this picture I've actually got 3 carriers, but I ended up using 2 carriers and a couple of trucks as well, so slightly different. I've got a forward observer team, that's them there, and they are controlling the 2 off-board 25-pounders, and I also have a Typhoon strike at some point during the game. Now let's have a look at Richard's force. His force is based on the 21st Panzer Division. They were destroyed in Tunisia and rebuilt in 1944. A lot of the equipment they used was repurposed stuff that the French had left when they surrendered in 1940. So very quirky force, 21st Panzer in Normandy, and it is a very, very flavourful force that he's put together. So he's got a Panzer IV as his forward HQ. He's got a platoon of Panzer Grenadiers, and they are in captured French half-tracks. Pretty cute looking. Support, he's got a medic, he's got a medium machine gun, and he's also got a little, where is it? Here we go, little Pack 40 assault gun thing. His Stug battery, they're not real Stugs, but the equivalent that the 21st Panzer cobbled together from the remnants of what they had in the way of French tanks. Still got the nasty Pack 40 on them, but they've got wafer thin frontal armour. And he's got this really random thing I've never seen before, a Reihenwerfer, which is a multiple rocket launcher. Pretty crazy bit of kit there. He's got a 20mm flak AA gun and a half track. He's got a couple of supply trucks as well. So his army comes out at 603 points and a battle rating of 34. So my British force battle rating is 31, so he's got a slight advantage there. And here we have a picture of the table from the German end of the board. Richard had prepared, very nice table, lots of buildings and hedges and fields to block lines of sight and conceal troops and stuff. So going to be an interesting game from that point of view. The table of the mission's not dissimilar in some ways to free-for-all in Flames of War. Basically 2 objectives ended up being deployed on each side, and the objective is to capture more of them and break the opponent. Unlike Flames of War, though, it's fought, the table is kind of cut in half on the diagonal, so you've got extra width out wide and a bit of depth where the deployment zones are, but it's quite narrow in the corners as well. Both of us were able to deploy within 20 inches of our deployment corner, so kind of in a triangle deployment, and mine was up here to about this road and then through to about where that hedges, I think, was where my deployment zone ended. So all my reserves could come on from there. Game started with our recon units. We both had 2 on the table, and then from turn 1 we rolled each turn to see how many of our troops reinforcements arrived. So extra troops were going to be fed into the battle. My strategy was quite straightforward. I was going to defend this. There's an objective here. I thought I'd be able to get plenty of troops up there. I wanted to push forward through the wood, capture this objective, and then once I'd got a firm base across here, maybe push over and get this one. I really didn't think I was going to have a chance of getting this one. I also had a timed typhoon strike, and I decided it was going to arrive on turn 6, and I put my point of aim for my typhoon just right here underneath, snuck it underneath that field, and hoped that Richard would have deployed some troops along there, because it was going to give some good lines of fire towards those objectives. But anyway, let's get on with the game. Okay, turn 1 I got to go first, so that shows how far up the table that my reserves could start from. One of my carriers went zooming up the road here and then across here, so it's contesting this objective. The other carrier has snuck in here, and so it's contesting that objective. The 222 armoured car came zooming up the road here, took a pot shot at me, may have hit, but didn't do any damage to my carrier. And you can just see lurking here the 250/9 also advanced and took a shot. So at the end of the turn, I decided I'd push my carrier a wee bit too far forward in my quest to try and grab that objective early. And on turn 2 decided retreat was probably the order of the day. So just initial scouting moves, really. And here you can see my second move. One of my infantry sections is advancing into the fields here. My forward observer jeep has raced up here, and my observer team, they're actually in this building. They're not sitting on the roof. The mortar carrier is still here. Cromwell's advanced to take some pot shots at that 222 armoured car, and either missed to observe it or missed entirely. I quite like the roll to see if you can spot anything. It helps to kind of represent a bit more of the fog of war, and makes it feel like a more dynamic game than a standard I go you go, kind of representing that you guys are kind of moving in a similar time but not necessarily at the same time, and something may have just moved out of visibility, etc. So it's an interesting mechanic, but I actually really do like it. And yeah, not a great deal of action from me. Here you can see that Bren gun carrier decided to retreat into the woods there, so it was just out of contesting range itself, but was able to contest and deny the Germans from claiming that objective. Sorry, didn't really get a shot of what the Germans were up to. As you can see, the 222 armoured car is bugged out. It was here. It's disappeared out of sight of the Cromwells lurking here. German anti-tank gun, I think, took a pot shot. Panzer Schrick team have debussed, and another squad of infantry and a medium machine gun team have also debussed. As I showed earlier, this is actually where my Typhoon strike is due to come in, so I was quite happy to see the Germans spreading out along these hedgerows over here. We're on turn 3. The Cromwells have advanced over there. I think actually you might need to draw, because I think I'm within 4 of that objective now, uncontested.
Likewise.
For the first time. And do I need to draw for that one? And the 21st Panzer are advancing onto the table this way. Very cool looking table. I think this shows a bit more detail. I haven't been able to move those infantry. Germans have pressed forward and captured that objective, so I've taken a chit, and I've now got the objective here uncontested. One of my Cromwells has moved into the wood here for cover from this anti-tank gun, and the other one whizzed around here. My thoughts are to try and get around this building, maybe put a bit of extra pressure on from out wide, but the Panzer Shrek team, you can't see him, but he's coming sneaking over this way somewhere. The 222 armoured cars over there. Richard has been quite aggressive this week and is pushing infantry up into this wooded area, getting ready to debuss. I haven't actually got any infantry or anything protecting along here as of yet. This whole flank is very open for me. It's a lot harder to get round this way for me, lots of hedges in the way and stuff, so I've been funneling my troops so far down this road to try and focus my attention on this objective, and we'll soon see whether or not that strategy paid dividends. You can see the flak 20 mil AA is on table here, and it's I think gone into ambush. More vehicles are starting to appear from reserve over here as well. So yeah, an interesting game so far. I really like the amount of space that we've got on the table with Battlegroup. Lots of terrain and avenues of advance, but also feel like you're struggling to defend against all the different avenues at the same time. So yeah, really enjoying the game up to this point. Turn 4, I only got 6 orders again. My artillery ranged in and pinned the units against that hedge line over there, but in response Richard's mortars ranged in and destroyed a carrier, pinned the crew, also pinned the Cromwell there, and then sneaky close assault came in against my forward observer team here, killed them, captured that building, and this machine gun team here finished off by pinning my 6-pounder. So a bit of work to be done by the British as the Germans are putting on the pressure. One of the things I'm really enjoying about this rule set is the beyond the call of duty chits and results. So what happened here is my infantry here and my medium machine gun and maybe some infantry, I think the infantry over here, shot at the German squad in here and killed 3 out of the 5. May have also taken out the medium machine gun team, but the Germans passed their beyond the call of duty, or they got a counter anyway. Not sure if it was a morale result or what, but the 2 survivors came charging out here, fired at my reconnaissance carrier with a Panzer force and blew it up. Not ideal from my point of view, but definitely very cinematic. And that kind of interrupted the flow of my turn. Then we went back into the normal swing of things. My Sherman Firefly, this is towards the end of the turn, has snuck up in here behind these trees. The idea is that next turn it is going to start sniping at some of the German assault guns. However, things don't always go to plan.
Very impressive turn 5 for the Germans. Cromwell took a direct hit from a mortar and was pinned. The other Cromwell got hit by that Panzer team and destroyed. My Sherman had come forward, my Firefly, to get some cover, but first shot from the 21st Panzer Division's assault gun tank hunter knocked it out. So the pins are mounting, but there was a very heroic German couple of stands took out the sprint gun carrier as well. So the British have taken quite a few losses, the Germans less. But we're on to turn 6, and guess what happens on turn 6? All over here. Hooray! The RAF will save the day, I'm sure.
Unfortunately for me, my Typhoon was driven off. The flak unit managed to get a hit on it and drive it away before it was able to bomb, but I did get lucky. Maybe the Achilles destroyed this half track. I put a wound on the medium machine gun team, maybe pinned them, and I think my an artillery strike over here got lucky and managed to destroy that half track over there. So things not really going my way, but Richard also taking quite a few casualties as well. And having successfully won his first tank assault badge, these guys just refused to die, but I may have got them in the end, I think. But I took quite a few casualties. But yeah, just one of those very cool aspects of the game. I really do like, as I said, those beyond the call of duty checks add nice flavour to the
End of turn 6. British are struggling. They're losing armour. Got hit hard here with some, well, all kinds of fire. I think there was some artillery and bits and pieces. Got pinned here. Infantry ran up there to contest objective, got pinned. So the supply truck managed to survive a lot of incoming fire though. So on to turn 7, and the British are definitely wavering.
And just before we do move on to turn 7, here's a nice little overview of where things are at. So the Achilles is the only thing I've got around on this part of the table. It's been trying to get out the line of sight of these assault guns, and it's been trying to snipe this one over here. My artillery strike got lucky, may have pinned that 222 again. Cromwell's destroyed, the other Cromwell's ducked back here and is sniping away. Most of my infantry are in here, and that's my last section, was trying to get down this road but took some heavy fire. So Richard's in a good position over here. He's still got lots of assault guns. He's got quite a few reserves as well to come on if need be, but we're both running a bit short of infantry. Here's the remnants of a squad pushing forward towards the water tower and contesting this objective. My infantry here are just within contesting range, so if they had broken and run away, then this objective would have been Richard's, and if I had pulled a 4 on a chit counter, that had happened, I would have definitely lost the game there and then. So my force is definitely teetering on the brink. Right, so my infantry in my turn charged out and destroyed those 2 heroic Germans that had been running around with the Panzer Force, but it did mean that my infantry at the end of the close assault were in the open and well in range of a whole range of medium machine guns, armoured cars, and assorted other targets, some mortars maybe. So my section was cut to pieces and destroyed, and I think I rolled Well, I picked a 1 on my chit, so I was still in the game, but only just. And turn 7 ended up being a bit of a fizzer. We ended up missing most things and not having a lot of troops that weren't pinned able to do a lot. And at that point, we called the game. It was about 4:30 and I have an hour and a half to get back to Oamaru where I live. So we called it, and the result was a 27-all tie when it came to the number of chits towards our break point that we'd both inflicted on each other. However, Richard's total break or battle rating was 34 and mine was 31, so he had more of his battle rating left, so he managed to take a very close victory. Good game. I really like the way in Battlegroup different things interact. Artillery feels right. Infantry are very vulnerable when they're caught in the open. You've got to use cover, etc. The gun duels are a wee bit random in the fact that you have to get to a reasonably close range, but if you do get hit by these Pack 40 armed guns, for instance, it hurts. And I lost, I think it was turn 4, I took a bit of a hiding with loss of two out of my 4 armoured fighting vehicles in that turn alone. So Richard, as you can see, had pushed forward and was probably being the aggressor a bit more than I was. I just wasn't able to get my infantry up fast enough to get a secure fire base. Part of that was a couple of turns where I got low orders dice, but again, that's one of the things I like about it. It's deciding which units you need to activate in which order as well. So it has a really nice feel, and I've really enjoyed these 2 games I've had with Richard. The tables that he provides, as you can see, are absolutely stunning. Fantastic to be able to fight on tables that look like this. Very happy with the way my British force that I've painted up in the last 2 or 3 weeks has turned out. Still got a wee bit to do. I've now got a copy of the rule book turned up, and I'll be able to change up my force a wee bit. I've got some Humber armoured cars on order, so looking forward to seeing those. But I hope you've enjoyed this report. Thoroughly enjoyed the game. Really enjoyed both these games I've had of Battlegroup and can't recommend it highly enough. So I hope to get down to Dunedin and have another game against Richard in the next 3 or 4 weeks, depending on how our 2 schedules line up. But just to finish with, just like to thank Richard for once again providing an absolutely outstanding table and day's gaming. Hospitality is fantastic. Really enjoying being able to pop down there, and surprisingly enough, I'm actually enjoying painting up and getting back into 20mm gaming after saying I wouldn't, and after 20 years since I sold off my original 20mm collection. So I'm not going to go completely crazy. You heard it here, but whether or not that pans out, we will see. But wanted to get a British force and a German force together. Germans need a wee bit more work, need some Panzer IVs to support them, but want a couple more games with the British before too much longer. But I'm waffling now, so that's enough from me for today. Thank you very much for watching. Like and subscribe if you like the report. I thoroughly enjoyed the game. I look forward to having another game soon. But until next time, ka kite anō. Take care.